Hey, welcome everybody. We're live in Orlando, Florida, InfoComm 2025. JP here, day 2 of InfoComm, and I'm here with John Hinkle from NETGEAR. John, good to be.
So good to see you here. Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us and allowing us to come stop by for a few minutes and talk about NETGEAR and what your focus is around the ProAV space in terms of the broadcasting with network switches from NETGEAR.
Right.
And so that's kind of a big emphasis that we've talked about before previously about where NETGEAR is trying to make it a real focused effort of providing products that support that space.
Yep, for sure. We've made a name, as you know, in the AV space for a while, and hence the NETGEAR AV name, really.
Right.
Somebody just asked me before we started the interview, like, so NETGEAR AV, he's a CIO guy. I don't understand NETGEAR AV. So we have a strong focus really from our CEO down saying, okay, focus on the AV market. And now we realized for years we've been playing in the broadcast market with NDI, with Dante, with AES67, Ravenna, things like that. And now we're really starting to make a name with things like the SMPTE 2110 crowd.
Yep.
Because we have switches that can support all that. So we're saying we can make it easier for broadcast people as well as commercial AV people too.
Absolutely. So which is an important part in creating some flexibility in terms of being different use cases that you mentioned to me, and obviously do that. So in terms of just getting started here from your position today here at the show, what's some of the highlights you guys are talking about this week? So
it's fun for us, but there's always something to do, of course, but we have 4 new switches, and that's what's really exciting here. And it's perfect for the broadcast world because these switches all do the Brownlee clock and Grandmaster clock. So we have, without getting too detailed, we have several different switch lines. This is the M4350 series we have announced a couple of years ago, I think now. Okay. So we only had 2 switches to begin with that did this Grandmaster boundary clock support, and now we have 4 more switches. So those are here at the booth. We can go wander over and take a look as well.
Let's do that.
Come on along. It's been a great show and a lot of interest, even in broadcast at the InfoComm show, being a lot of AV-oriented stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see if we can sneak in here. Sneak in the side, if I may. Yeah, sneak in, sorry. I'm sorry to do this. Can I do this real quick? So it's been such a demand for these switches, I just kick people out of the way. But come back.
It's live.
So in the rack here for the show, we're actually using this stuff for the show here, John. We have our standard 4350 switches. The ones here you can see kind of in the middle here have a little LED light at the bottom of the port. So that's been a cool new feature for live events, especially like this, or for any kind of application. Your switch is in the back of a rack somewhere, and you're trying to figure out where to plug the port in.
Yes.
So from our user interface, you can color the VLAN, color the ports that you're assigning for Dante or for SMPTE 2110, color them blue. And then you got to say, hey, John, go plug them into blue. Okay. So it makes it much easier for non-trained people to plug in stuff into a switch.
Well, especially when you ask somebody at the last minute and you're in a major show who hasn't been there, and you're trying to get something ready to go, and you say, hey, go over to the switch and do this and plug it in there, and like, okay, where do I plug it into, right? And I think that's kind of the nice part here is having those LED lights to kind of color code and know exactly what you just stated.
And we were just talking earlier amongst ourselves at NETGEAR that, even the most advanced people, you got to figure out how to count the ports. I mean, we tell you they're a little arrow up and down, but it isn't easy in the back of a rack and it's dark and everything. So we heard that from customers for years. Other people do that. It's not novel for us, or not novel, it's new for us at least. That's a big thing. The other thing is on these switches, and I can't really show you in the back, but we've added a captive little cover for the power switch. And also for the power cable. Little things that you guys know mean a lot in a live situation. Somebody could be in the back right now and just happen to pull the power plug. So we've added like a zip tie sort of thing for now.
Oh, very nice.
It's a great little way to make sure it's captive.
Absolutely.
And it's not quite a power con connector or things like that yet. Notice I said yet.
Yeah.
But that's a way to help mitigate some of those problems you might have in a live situation.
Which is important because a lot of times when you're trying to get ready for production, you're trying to get everything organized and locked down, right? So everything's set and ready to go. And the last thing you want is somebody inadvertently pulling the power cord.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So the last thing that these switches have that's more software based, and we can kind of go through a demo, but it's kind of hard to show on camera. But these switches, like I said, have the Grandmaster boundary clock. We use a profile approach for configuring switches.
Sure.
So from our Engage software, which is free, you can download for free, you can manage multiple switches at once. So what you can do is go find the profile for SMPTE 2110 or AES67, whatever. Tell us on ports 1 through 4 you want to configure it for those, for that protocol, and we do all the configuration for you.
Oh, wow.
And that is not trivial for 2110.
Right.
It's mission critical. And so for the broadcast world who are reluctant to kind of use maybe a business NETGEAR switch, well, these are oriented for AV. These are really specially made for AV purposes, which includes broadcast and commercial AV and all that stuff. So we configure the switch for you, make it easy. We have the captive kind of power thing in the back, and we have the LED lights. We have all the stuff. We're starting to listen to our audience and really cater to the needs of the broadcast world.
Which is important because I think there's this kind of this learning curve that with SIP 2110 and with everything kind of coming about, right, with video over IP, it's not new, it's been there, but as it evolves and matures. And another part of NETGEAR's strategy that I think is exciting is that you guys have created like kind of an education academy type process where people can get onboarded and learn about how to configure, manage these switches, understand everything you kind of cover in terms of the software, and as you guys come out with new features or additional management parts of the software.
Yeah, so our academy, academy.netgear.com, it's been around for a while, and our awesome training manager, Gus Maconda, you know, everybody knows Gus from
everybody knows Gus.
He came to NETGEAR a little while ago and is helping us amp up our training. He has developed recently a broadcast 2110 course and also an IPMX course. So working with AIMS Alliance to make sure that we can offer that kind of training for people to understand what these new protocols are and how they can affect them.
Which I think is exciting because just anything we can do to put more tools in the hands of the ProAV team and people that are responsible for a variety of different parts of the production. But I'm even thinking at the point where as these switches evolve and they continue to move forward, as you're talking about, in remote production, different sites where these switches are deployed in a variety of different geolocations. Right now you're having to think about, okay, the configuration and management side of it, and that training really helps to get on board and get up to speed.
And it just makes it quicker too for configuration. I mean, some techs were joking the other day that we're actually, if they're billing hourly, they're kind of losing out because they're doing their job a lot faster. But I think for everybody, it's just more reliable and consistent, and then easier. And so, in general, we're helping the industry kind of propel everything over IP a little bit faster.
Absolutely. Well, John, is there anything in terms of, for the audience watching online that are tuned into the replay, things that we'll put a link in the description, by the way, as I talk about this, things to learn more about from NETGEAR, things that you should go check out online? Is there something we should direct the audience to?
Well, first of all, the website, of course, easy, right there, netgear.com/AV. That's the easiest way in, because NETGEAR has a big consumer division as well, but separate AV-focused area there, or netgear.com/broadcast too as well, actually. So you'll find some resources there. The Academy I mentioned, academy.netgear.com. And then just to stay tuned for more and more, we have IBC coming up in September.
That's right.
Big show in Amsterdam. I won't be there, but our products will certainly be there. We'll have more things to announce there. And then Engage software, you need to have switches to use Engage, but Engage is free, netgear.com/engage. All these links, you can find us. Search for videos in the Training Academy. And
we'll do that, and I'll put some links to everybody that when you tune into the replay, we'll make sure and have links available post-event that you can go check out online. John, thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are really busy. The booth has got a lot of traffic here. I appreciate you taking the time to walk through this, and very excited about, I think a lot of us both from the ProAV industry, but also those of us in streaming broadcast, things that are responsible as streaming has become a big paramount part of the infrastructure of delivering both from a live view perspective or other areas of the business.
Thanks, JP. Appreciate your time as well.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in and joining this live session. If you have any questions, please comment, share, let us know for John or myself. We'll be happy to follow up. As well as part of this production that we're doing here at the show that I've mentioned this week is about connected experiences. Talking with John here is another portion of that effort of having a connected experience. If you're not here at the show, to be able to hear from John and get the updates from NETGEAR and all the wonderful things that they're coming out with, there's a QR code that's going to come up. When you see that QR code come up, one's going to be for live view. That's going to talk about our lightweight production that we're doing here at the show, as well as the graphics we're pulling in from Tagboard, and of course my efforts around what I do from a Social 180 Group perspective. I want to thank LiveView, Tagboard, and everybody involved in this production. We'll talk to you in the next session. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye for now.